Not every place in the world is as welcoming as it seems. From chapels built entirely from human bones, to abandoned asylums haunted by the souls of the forgotten, and even the infamous Island of the Dolls. Today, we're stepping inside the world's creepiest, most unsettling locations. Catacombs dei Cappuccini. Beneath the streets of Palermo, Italy, lies one of the most disturbing burial sites on Earth, the Catacombs dei Cappuccini. In the late 1500s, monks from the nearby Capuchin monastery ran out of cemetery space. Their solution? They carved a vast underground network of corridors and crypts beneath the monastery grounds. At first, the tunnels were reserved strictly for deceased monks. But everything changed when one friar's body was naturally mummified by the dry underground air. Instead of decomposing, he remained eerily intact. Word spread quickly, and soon, wealthy citizens, nobles, and clergy demanded the same eternal display. By the 1920s, more than 9,000 bodies had been placed inside. Around 1,200 remain remarkably preserved. The dead line the walls, dressed in their finest clothing, soldiers in uniforms, children in lace, priests in robes. Some are posed as if frozen mid-conversation. One of the most famous is young Rosalia Lombardo, whose face still appears hauntingly lifelike more than a century later. Walking through these corridors feels less like visiting a cemetery and more like stepping into a city of the dead. Many visitors admit they leave unsettled, and some claim the faces follow them long after they've gone. Would you dare walk those silent halls? Eastern State Penitentiary. When it opened in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary was considered revolutionary. Built in Philadelphia and designed by architect John Haviland, it introduced the Pennsylvania system, a radical experiment in total solitary confinement. Prisoners were kept alone in stone cells with skylights, called the Eye of God, meant to inspire reflection and repentance. The prison's radial design, 7 cell blocks stretching from a central hub, became a blueprint copied worldwide. At its peak, it held some of America's most notorious criminals, including Al Capone and Willie Sutton. Over its 142 years, nearly 85,000 inmates passed through its iron gates. But reform quickly turned into cruelty. As the population swelled beyond its intended 250 inmates, reaching over 1,700 by the 1920s, conditions deteriorated. Punishments became brutal. The mad chair restrained inmates so tightly circulation failed. The iron gag forced into a prisoner's mouth caused horrific injuries. The hole, a pitch-black underground cell, left inmates in complete isolation. Riots broke out in 1933. Fires raged through cell block 12. And today, visitors report echoing footsteps, slamming cell doors, shadowy figures on the catwalks, even the smell of smoke lingering in the air. Now abandoned, the prison offers day and night tours, but some say the inmates never truly left. Ohio State Reformatory. Towering over Mansfield, Ohio, the Ohio State Reformatory looks more like a medieval castle than a prison. Opened in 1896, it was designed to inspire rehabilitation, but what unfolded inside was far darker. Built to house young, first-time offenders, the prison eventually became dangerously overcrowded. Cells meant for one man held 2 or 3. Sanitation was poor. Medical care was minimal. Harsh discipline and alleged torture under certain wardens became part of daily life. More than 200 people died within its walls before it was ordered closed by a federal court in 1990 due to inhumane conditions. If the building looks familiar, it's because it starred as Shawshank Prison in The Shawshank Redemption. But behind the Hollywood spotlight lies a grim history. Former inmates have described violence, neglect, and psychological torment. Today, the remaining structure stands partially restored. Ghost tours take visitors through the towering cell blocks and solitary wings. Many claim to feel sudden cold spots, hear unexplained whispers, or see figures moving between bars. Beautiful on the outside, brutal within. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Built between 1858 and 1881 in Weston, West Virginia, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was once a grand Gothic revival hospital spanning 666 acres. Designed under the Kirkbride Plan, it was meant to provide humane care for the mentally ill in a peaceful, structured environment. It was built for just 250 patients, but at its worst, more than 2,600 people were crammed inside. Rooms meant for one held 5 or 6. Patients slept on floors. Criminally insane insane individuals were mixed with nonviolent patients. Reports from the 20th century describe cages used in common areas for violent individuals, shockingly, as recently as the 1980s. One of the most disturbing chapters involves Dr. Walter Freeman, who performed experimental lobotomies using an ice pick-like instrument inserted through the eye socket, often without anesthesia. He performed over 4,000 procedures during his career. The asylum finally closed in 1994. Inside, wheelchairs still sit in hallways. Rusted beds remain untouched. Visitors report hearing children laughing, particularly a spirit known as Lily, and doors opening on their own. What was meant to heal became a monument to suffering. Chapel of Bones. In Évora, Portugal, inside the Church of St. Francis, lies a chapel unlike any other, the Capela dos Ossos, or Chapel of Bones. Built in the 16th century by Franciscan monks, this 61 by 36-foot chamber is decorated entirely with human bones. The remains of approximately 5,000 people were exhumed from nearby cemeteries and carefully arranged into intricate patterns covering every wall and pillar. Skulls stare from columns. Femurs form arches. Two preserved corpses hang in glass cases. Above the entrance, an inscription reads, "We bones, lying here bare, are awaiting yours." The chapel wasn't built to terrify. It was meant as a reminder of mortality, a meditation on life's fragility. But stepping inside feels overwhelming. Thousands of empty eye sockets watch silently as visitors pass. It is both sacred and macabre, a place where faith meets the inevitability of death. Actun Tunichil Muknal. Deep within the jungles of Belize lies Actun Tunichil Muknal, a cave once believed by the Maya to be a portal to the underworld. Accessible only by trekking through rainforest and wading into underground rivers, the cave opens into chambers filled with ancient artifacts. Ceramics, stone tools, and sacrificial altars remain where they were left over 1,000 years ago. But the most chilling sight is the human remains. Several skeletons lie where sacrificial rituals took place. The most famous is the Crystal Maiden, a teenage girl whose bones have calcified over time, giving them a shimmering, almost sparkling appearance under torchlight. The cave's humid environment preserved everything in eerie detail. Even footprints remain in hardened clay. Because of past accidental damage, visitors must remove their shoes before entering sacred chambers. Cameras are strictly controlled. This is one of the only places in the Americas where you can stand face to face with direct evidence of ancient ritual sacrifice, exactly where it happened. Island of the Dolls. South of Mexico City, in the canals of Xochimilco, lies a small island covered in thousands of decaying dolls. In the 1950s, a man named Don Julian Santana Barrera claimed he discovered the body of a young girl who had drowned nearby. Soon after, he said he began hearing her spirit calling out, asking for her doll. To appease her, he collected discarded dolls from canals and garbage piles and hung them from trees across the island. Over decades, the collection grew. Limbs snapped, eyes fell out, faces rotted in the sun and rain. When Don Julian died in 2001, reportedly near the same spot the girl had drowned, locals said the island had claimed him too. Today, visitors travel by boat to see what's known as the Island of the Dolls. The dolls sway in the wind, their empty eyes staring through tangled branches. So, would you dare visit any of these places? Or are some doors better left unopened? Let me know in the comments. And you love exploring the world's darkest mysteries. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join us, because the truth is often more terrifying than fiction.